Guys, it's Fred. Got an interesting video for you. I made a phone call recently to Pike County Tourism. I was trying to get a hold of Jay Shepard to get a correction done on the Randall McCoy story he did on the rage disease. It's the wrong family. But Jay wasn't in. Tony Tackett was. Tony Tackett is the director over the Pike County Tourism. He's Jay's supervisor. He's had to have okayed the AI generated photo of Randall McCoy's face all distorted and him all angry. And I was going to check about getting that corrected. I'll show you a preview of how this conversation went about right now.
I am, because you've got Rio Hatfield that says he's a descendant of Devil Anse Hatfield, and you guys promote him. It's not. It's not. Okay. It's not my business that I'm a Hatfield and a McCoy, and I question. You don't care, and that's the problem. It's about respect. Is it? How about truth? Does truth have anything? Does truth?
That's just a sample, guys. That's just a sample. Let me bring me back up here. It's just a sample that you're going to hear here in a minute between Tony Tackett, director of Pike County Tourism, and myself. It gets right. It gets right on both of our parts. Guys, I'm going to tell you, I made me some notes here because otherwise I forget, but I've got one speed. It's wide open, and it's the truth. That's me. I tell it. I don't hold back. I'm not like these people that can dazzle people with BS. I just speak my piece, speak what's true. Sheila and I are the same way. Sheila's the same way. Sheila's not in this video. Sheila doesn't like the real controversial. Sheila loves research. Sheila loves truth with proof. But when it comes to confrontations, she doesn't like that. And I respect that on her part. Y'all have heard it before. If you followed my channel, I went in the Marine Corps at 17 years old. The Marine Corps formed me. Tell it like it is. Man up about it. Own it. I spent the next 40 years in law enforcement career. Bad attitude. Obnoxious. Maybe. But I'm straightforward. You don't have to go to somebody else to see what I think about you. Now, I'm going to play some of this video or audio because I'm on the phone talking to him. And as I play it, I'm going to stop and I'm going to comment here and there to let you know what's going on and what's been said. Am I loud? Am I obnoxious? It may sound like that. I'm trying to talk. He's trying to talk. Both of us are trying to talk. That's a given. Tony is trying to. Tony knows we're YouTubers. He knows that when I call that we're taping. He knows that. And he's trying to make his point. He's trying to put what he wants to put out there on our video. I'm not allowing it. He wants to talk about respect. I want to talk about the truth. He says it's none of my business. I was born and raised in Pike County, Kentucky, on Blackberry Creek. That's my great-great-grandparents where the replica cabin is, Preacher Anse Hatfield and Polly. Uriah and Aunt Betty McCoy's my great-great-grandparents. Nancy Hatfield's my great-grandmother. Asa McCoy's my great-grandfather. I'm Hatfield and McCoy. This is my heritage. This is my ancestors. This is my history. People get mad at Fred McCoy because he speaks out when he hears mistruths or lies about his heritage, or they put a distorted photograph, a distorted photograph of Randall McCoy. And I question it. And especially after we do the research and we find out that this rumor that's gone on for 20 years about the rage disease that the McCoys have and attributed to the, you would think Tony and I both have a rage disease. It's called trying to speak over one another. It's called an argument. It's called having a discussion, guys. Temper, a disagreement. It doesn't make either one of us have VHL. It makes us intense. We're having an intense discussion, an argument. Doesn't mean we're mental, doesn't mean we have issues. It means we feel strongly about what each one of us are saying. You're going to hear Tony here in a minute wants to talk about respect. Let's just play the video and we'll take it from there. Hey guys, I'm going to try to, it's Fred and Sheila. Sheila's behind the camera.
Hi guys, hope you're doing well today.
I'm going to try to make contact with Jay Shepard at the Pike County Tourism and see if won't do a correction on his story.
Thank you for calling the Pikeville Pike County Welcome Center, where your Eastern Kentucky adventure begins. To speak with a Welcome Center representative for travel information, local attractions, and events, please press 1. Nothing has been selected.
Pikeville Pike County Welcome Center. How could I help you?
Jay Shepard, please.
He's not in at the moment, but he's in meetings today, but you could email him if you'd like.
Okay. Will he be in later today or Monday?
He will be. He'll be checking his emails. Right now what he's doing is marketing for the festival, so he's out and about. But he's checking his emails. Is there anything I could help you with?
Yeah, who is this?
This is Tony.
Hey, Tony Tackett?
Yes.
Well, you're just as good as Jay. Aren't you the supervisor there, or the director?
Hey, I'm just the little guy that writes the cue cards. What you need?
Well, but you are Jay's boss, correct?
Yes, we work together.
Yeah, okay. This is Fred McCoy. You probably heard of me, Fred and Sheila McCoy, that does the YouTubes and
Yes.
history. Hey, Tony, he did a video the other day on Randall McCoy and the VHL rage disease. Are you familiar with that one?
Yes.
Okay. Have you been keeping up with the research that Sheila and I have done on this?
Somewhat, yes.
Well, do you know that they were not McCoys at all? The people that were tested, that down the line, Robert McKay, they came from Scotland to Pennsylvania, where Archibald and William came from Scotland to Maryland. That's where they got their start, and then they got their land grant to Pikeville. That's how they ended up there. These people the McKays ended up in Virginia. And this Winter Reynolds, that the doctor supposedly figured out that she had tumors on her adrenaline gland, she's actually a McKay, M-C-K-A-Y. So this, for 20 years now, this has gone on that the McCoys have had this rage disease, and they're not even, I did my DNA, and I couldn't find any of these people in Randall's line, in my DNA, and when we started researching, and we put the latest video out, number 4, on Hatfield McCoy Museum Adventures, and it's got the line all the way down. And I was just going to see if Jay, and especially you now that you're on here, would do a correction and maybe help to change this myth that's gone on for all these years.
Well, you know, Fred, I agree with you about myths and mishistory and miscommunication. But I don't agree with you of how you attack people to get your information across.
Okay.
And as a director, I take that wholeheartedly.
Okay.
I've spent my life here. You went away.
Oh, hold on a minute now. Where are you from, Tony? Where are you from originally?
I'm from here.
Okay,
I'm
well,
from the
I was born and
original.
raised there too. I was born and raised
Okay.
there also. Now, my
Then
name
why
is
do you
Hatfield and
fester the
McCoy.
hate?
I am
Then
both.
why do you fester the hate?
I am, because you.
That's what I'm talking about there. I'm my, not Hatfield McCoy name. My surname is McCoy, but I'm Hatfield McCoy bloodline, Hatfield McCoy ancestors. Now, he says you moved away. Well, first of all, I went in the Marine Corps when I was 17 years old and I went away. Then I came back. I was a police officer, a detective, a deputy sheriff for the next almost 10 years. We turned the sheriff in for corruption and moved away. But that doesn't mean that my heart, that's where I grew up at. That's where I was raised. That's Hatfield McCoy history. That's what we do. We just got down in central Kentucky and we don't like the politics up in that area. We don't like the corruption. Corruption's everywhere, but it's more so in eastern Kentucky. You can see that from Letcher County, which is not far. That's where the sheriff shot the judge. That's all up in eastern Kentucky. But he wants to talk about moving away. Moving away doesn't have anything to do with the truth of stories. Moving away doesn't have anything to do with holding people's feet to the fire when they don't tell the truth. You know, it's funny that Mr. Tackett here, you're going to hear him say in a minute, you done heard it on the intro where it says it's none of your business. And I said, it's not. It's not none of my business. Does any of you think it's funny that it's not any of my business, but my ancestors are Hatfields and McCoys, the same Hatfields and McCoys that this fella here promotes for tourism. The same people that they take around and run a bus tour to show people where my ancestors lived at, were born at, died at, fought at, were tied up to trees at, where cabins were burnt down at. That's my ancestors that this fella, Tackett, not a Hatfield, not McCoy, to my knowledge, no Hatfield or McCoy in his bloodline. If I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken, but I'm thinking Jay Shepard was from another state. And I was thinking Tackett was, but he says he's from that area. We'll give him that. But what gets me is people that comes in from other states, especially, and then they want to tell the Hatfield McCoy history, especially when it's distorted. He says it's none of my business, but it's my family. You know, the dinner theater down in Gatlinburg, the dinner theater makes money from making fun of the Hatfields and McCoys. Hatfields and McCoys. I'm both. Grandmother was a Hatfield. Great-grandfather was a McCoy. They make funny by laughing at two families that had deaths in their family. They're known for America's bloodiest feud. Not the most people killed in a feud, but the bloodiest, the goriest, the tying them to trees and assassinating them, shooting them as they swim across the river, shooting them as they come out of a cave that they're hiding in to use the bathroom, burning their house down, and shooting the children as they run out of the house. The bloodiest, the goriest, taking a rifle and beating a 60, 70-year-old woman, leaving her for dead. That's my ancestors. That's my relatives. Has no problem people making money from that, selling tickets and tourism in Pike County, promoting the feud, promoting the deaths from the feud, taking to these sites and showing where these people were slaughtered. 3 boys was murdered, assassinated. He's got a job. This man has a job making a living on my family's, my ancestors' misfortune. He gets a payday from talking about my ancestors' misfortune and deaths. But yet he tells me on this video, it's none of your business because I'm questioning things about tourism. I'm questioning things that they promote and people they promote. He says it's none of your business. Whose business is it? It's my ancestors. It's my, whether they're aunts and uncles, whether they're grandparents, whether they're great grandparents, great great grandparents. It's my relatives. I'm the only one related. Him, Jay Shepard, they're not related. Paul Patton, Judy Patton, they're not related to the Hatfields or McCoys, or not that I know of. It's my family on both sides. None of my business. That's like telling a woman to calm down. It's none of your business. That's like telling a woman, calm down, honey. Just calm down. One thing you learn in police work, never tell people to calm down, because it makes them worse. Now he says it's none of my business. I think it is. I spent from the 5th grade on up. I wrote a book report in the 5th grade on the Hatfields and McCoys, and been researching the Hatfields and McCoys ever since. Sheila and I've been married 41 years here, today's the 10th. Sheila and I've been married 41 years. Come April the 13th, today's the 10th. Talks about respect. This fella here you're listening to, and you're going to hear more. I'll shut up in a minute, but I do want to prove my case. This fella here wants to talk about respect. He said, Fred, you don't respect nobody. Guys, when your family, your ancestors have been treated like my ancestors, Hatfield and McCoy, Kentucky Hatfields, Kentucky McCoys, when they've been treated like the Pike County Tourism has treated them, where's the respect? You've got Devil Anse Hatfield on a monument on Blackberry, where the McCoys were from. And you got Randall McCoy facing the hillside. Is that respect? A Kentucky resident, and you put him facing the hill? Maybe minute to some people, may not be nothing. It is to me, because that's some of my relatives. That was a man that fought in the Civil War on Blackberry, in Pond Creek, in Pikeville. He's from Kentucky. They have a man from West Virginia facing the road like he's a hero. None of my business. He talks about respect, and I'm going to show a picture right here that Jay Shepard posted. You tell me, guys. See, talk's cheap. You can talk on the phone because he knows I'm recording, and he talks about, oh, you're not respectful. You can talk respect all day long, but actions speak louder than words. You have a man here that lost most of his family in the Hatfield and McCoy feud. 3 boys were shot, tied up to trees and shot, including his namesake, 15-year-old Randall Jr. He's had a daughter and a son running out of a burning cabin while the Hatfield, West Virginia Hatfield shot him to death. His wife runs out to check on her children. They beat her to death with a rifle, or almost to death. They left her for dead. He talks about respect while you're sitting here looking at that picture you've been looking at. That's supposed to be Randall McCoy. The rage disease. The rage disease. Look how they've distorted that picture. Look what a picture they're using for Randall McCoy. Now, Devil Anse Hatfield killed three boys lined up on a foreign line. They tied them to trees and they assassinated them. Don't have a picture like that of Devil Anse Hatfield. Running out of the cabin, shooting their kids as they run out. Don't have a picture like that of Devil Anse Hatfield. Shot Jeff McCoy as he swam across the river trying to get away. Don't have a picture like that of Devil Anse. Or shooting Asa Harmon McCoy, hiding in a cave, trying to keep trouble down, trying to hide so they won't burn his house down, his cabin down with his family in it. He's trying to hide in the woods, and they go hunt him down and assassinate him. I don't know how much we're supposed to take. I don't know. He talks about respect, but they show a picture like this right here of a victim of the Hatfield and McCoy feud. This man was a victim. This man was bullied by the West Virginia Hatfields, by Devil Anse, and a whole bunch of Devil Anse's employees, followers, family members. This man is from Kentucky that you're looking at. Pike County Tourism puts his picture up there and says rage disease. Now, Sheila and I researched after 20 years. We should have done it years ago. Researched it and found out the McCoys didn't have what's known as a rage disease. Didn't have it. The people, the girl that they examined, the doctor examined, this Matthews, that also like the dinner theater, also like Pike County Tourism, also like all these people that sells Hatfield McCoy t-shirts and all these different things, they have a interest in it because it makes them money, or it gives them 15 minutes of fame. This doctor, looking for 15 minutes of fame, says he examined a McCoy and he found tumors on her, and he's going to remove the tumors, and because she's a McCoy, that's going to take care of her rage disease. Well, we can't hear from her, and I won't go into that, but we don't know if it removed the rage disease or not in her. But what we do know is she's not a McCoy. She's a McKay, M-C-K-A-Y. We know that. We went to Ancestry. None of them shows up on my DNA, and that was confusing. Why, if I'm a McCoy in a Hatfield, and it shows it, why are these people not showing up? They're not. Well, because they're not McCoys or Hatfields. They're McKays. Now, this guy, he likes to promote Pike County Tourism, and he talks about respect, but this is the picture that he showed of Randall McCoy. Is that respect? Now, I ask about truthfulness. Does truthfulness not matter when we're talking about respect? Truthfulness? See, you can be respectful. These West Virginia Hatfields, when they show up from Oklahoma and Michigan and Waynesboro, Virginia, and all these different places, and they're carrying their Bibles, or they got that smile on their face and they're shaking hands, they're respectful. They don't speak the truth, but they're respectful. I don't care if you're rude to me. I'd rather you tell Fred McCoy the truth. Now, I'm not going to go over all these scenarios, but the people we're talking about here is people that they have representing the Hatfields and McCoys that says that they signed a peace treaty, even though there's been peace treaties already taken care of, and there's all the Hatfields and McCoys have never feuded during, before, or after the feud. It just didn't happen. Everybody wasn't involved. Didn't need a peace treaty. People's married to each other. But it shows a peace treaty, and it says a descendant of Randall McCoy and a descendant of Devil Anse Hatfield, and it's got Rio Hatfield and Ron McCoy shaking hands. Who's the descendant of Devil Anse Hatfield? Because Rio Hatfield is not. Even Jack Hatfield. And we've done videos on this. Even Jack Hatfield sent me a message before on Ancestry. I put it in a video. I made copies. And he says, you're right about two of my cousins. He's talking about William Keith, and he's talking about Rio Hatfield. You're right about them. They are not descendants of Devil Anse Hatfield. He says, Jack Hatfield does. But yet it's okay for them to sign rifles as a descendant of Devil Anse Hatfield and sell these commemorative rifles as keepsakes, family heirlooms. Starts a rumor on Hubert Bay McCoy and says Hubert Bay McCoy shot grandfather in the back 3 times, and the grandfather shot and killed him in a brothel. Couldn't be further from the truth. And we did stories on it. And I call people out, and he wants to say I'm disrespectful. How much do we take before? Let's play some more of the video. It's Hatfield, and you guys promote them.
That is none of your business.
It's not.
No, they are.
It's not.
So I'm not arguing with you, number one.
Okay.
Number one,
it's not my business that I'm a Hatfield and a McCoy, and I question.
I don't care, sir, who you are.
You don't
It's
care, and
about
that's the
treating
problem.
people with respect. It's about respect.
Is it? How about truth? Does truth have anything? Does truth have anything to do with respect? Does truth have anything? Does truth have anything to do with respect? Does truth have anything at all to do with respect? You guys have disrespected the family name ever since you've been there.
Sir, we get enough calls from people how you talk negative.
I talk the truth. Why don't you prove us wrong?
Why don't you prove us wrong? We get calls all the time. How do I bring this out in a positive manner? Did you see me at the beginning? At the beginning of this conversation, when he said, I'm Tony Tackett, I said, hey, Tony, how you doing? Conversation started off good. I'm laughing. I'm good with it. Here's what we got. Can we get a correction? I'm not calling to talk about respect. I'm not calling to, calling to talk about this distorted picture that they've put up. And can we get that changed now? Because we know better. He wants to go about talking about respect. He's wanting to hold me hostage. He's wanting to pull me over to his side and say, hey, we can do this. In my opinion, we can change this, but you're going to have to be nicer. Guys, I'm never going to accept mistruths. I'm never going to accept lies. I'm just not going to do that. How do you, as a Marine and a 40-year career police officer, how do you nicely call somebody a liar, a cheat, a swindler? Because I've done it in all these videos as nice as I can do it. I show different monuments, different markers. I try to show different truth with proof, as Sheila says. We try to prove everything that we can. I have improved. I don't use the language that I once used in the videos from way back. I don't use bad language now. I have tried to correct that and change that. But am I supposed to accept everything? Accept everything that he says just because he works for Pike County Tourism, an entity? That's my family. It's their entity, but they're promoting or de-promoting, slandering, defaming my family and my family name. And that he gets mad because he says I'm disrespectful, but yet they show a picture of Randall McCoy like they did. That's not just it. There's so many things, but I'm not going to go into them. Let me go ahead here.
No, but if you want to,
You put a picture of Randall McCoy, a distorted picture of Randall McCoy. I'll tell you what, let's do. We're probably just going to have to put this in court.
One more time. If you don't want to listen for a moment, I'm not carrying this conversation.
I'm not going to listen to mumble jumble when you're sitting here with people that's spreading.
Listen to me one more time. One more time. I care about respect.
Do you care about the truth, Tony? Do you care about the truth? As Pike County Tourism, Pike County Tourism, do you care about the truth? Bob Scott says that his grandmother was the only child that Preacher Ants Hatfield had.
Yeah. Bob Scott, one of the directors of Pike County Tourism, says that his grandmother was the only daughter that Preacher Ants and Polly Hatfield had. Guys, Preacher Ants and Polly Hatfield are my great-great-grandparents. They're the ones that lived at the cabin. It's now a replica cabin at the foot of Blackberry Mountain. That's where he lived. He was supposedly the justice of the peace who presided over one of the pig trials where West Virginia Hatfield stole Kentucky McCoy's pigs. We'll play the video. Right now, I'm going to play this video for you guys. Now, Bob Scott said that his grandmother was the only daughter that Preacher Ants and Polly had. It's not what he said at all. Let's let you listen for yourself and see what you think.
My grandfather on the Scott side, which was Julius Scott, and his wife Polly.
Right.
Well, her dad and mother was Anderson Hatfield.
Right.
And Polly.
Preacher Ants.
Preacher Ants, which overseen the hog trial.
Right.
They had 12 children and only one daughter. And that was my and Bruce's and other cousins' grandmother.
One more time, if you allow someone to talk for a minute without talking over them, okay?
If you don't.
Now, guys, that's what you call truth with proof. I said Bob Scott had said that his grandmother was the only daughter that Preacher Ants and Polly had. We know that's not the truth because my grandmother was her sister. He actually had 8 daughters. Bob Scott says they had 12 children, and that was the only daughter. No, they actually had 14 children, 8 daughters. And that's the board of directors for the Pike County Tourism. And I've played that video over and over and over on different videos that we've done. It's out there. It was on another YouTuber's channel that I don't promote because they also promote mistruths. They don't care whether it's true or not as long as they have videos to put out. Our videos are more about family history like this is about the truth. It's our family history, so we want the truth. Naturally, if I was talking about Mr. Tackett's family, I'm giving the family history of his father or his mother and what they did for a living or what they didn't do or wanted to put up a Can you imagine me putting up a distorted picture of his father or mother or Jay Shepherd's father or mother on one of our videos? How upset they would get if that was their mother or father or aunt or uncle. How upset they would get. Of course they would. You wouldn't hear the end of it. But it's okay for them to do Randall McCoy. It's okay to do the McCoy family. It's okay to do the Kentucky Hatfields. Just don't bother the West Virginia Hatfields or the North Carolina McCoy or the Waycross, Georgia McCoy. Go ahead. He's wanting to get his point across. He's wanting to talk about respect. Guys, you can talk about respect. I had a sheriff, one of the most corrupt sheriffs God ever strung a gut through. He came back from a funeral one time. You talk about respect. This is how respectful he was. And this reminds me of something Jay talking about respect. And I said, Fuzzy, where you been? He said, I've been over at Rogers' funeral home. So-and-so died. And I said, I didn't think you and him got along. He said, I don't. I hate that SOB. But he's got a lot of family members. That family, Fred. He went to that funeral to get that family vote. That's what he did. Is that respect? Maybe to some, not to me. Tony wants to talk about respect, but says and does the things that they do in Pike County Tourism that we've pointed out in many of our videos. Let's go ahead and play it.
Don't talk garbage. I'll allow that. Go ahead.
No, sir. I have.
Don't try to hornswoggle me.
I have let you talk enough, and I've listened. So one more time, I'm going to ask you one more time to let me say something.
Go ahead.
One more time. It is about the truth. It is about everything, but it's about respect. And you respect no one from what I
know. No.
I
don't respect liars, Tony. I don't respect mistruth.